everyone, welcome to this channel, and today I have some random footage for you guys from my last video. So if you haven't checked out my last video, go watch it first before you watch this one. I wanted to come and give you guys some bonus footage because when I was editing last week's video, which was already like an hour long, I didn't want to make it even more longer for people who didn't want to watch the entire process, but I have some bonus footage to share with you guys, and I don't know if I'll keep doing this format of videos. I don't know. I don't really like making tutorials and stuff, but for some reason during this video, I felt the need to first of all talk an extensive amount, and second of all, I actually went in detail about like some of the things I did, like how I bookbinded, and I made a semi-tutorial. So I want to come share it with you guys and give you guys this bonus footage. You can do what you will with it, but there's some tutorials in here, some other stuff. I hope you enjoy it. So here's a tutorial on how I did bookbinding, kind of, a little bit. It's kind of a terrible tutorial, I'm so sorry. And let's go ahead and go. I'm going to be doing a kettle stitch binding for those who know anything about bookbinding, but I only have 3, so the binding process is gonna be pretty quick. I'm gonna try to do it without a tutorial because I used to do it all the time my sophomore year. I haven't done it as much this year, so hopefully I can remember. But I think I honestly want to do the bindings by centimeter. Is that crazy of me? Just because I think it'll look really good. Like, I'm also planning to do the big one in centimeters, which, holy god, that's going to take a long time. Let's do a little one in centimeters first. We might as well try it, and then we'll move from there. So I'm just going to hold them like in my knees. I don't want to use a pen. I want to use a pencil. Do I have a pencil on my desk? I do, but somewhere. Is there lead in this? There is. Cool. So if you don't know how to kettle stitch, this is the worst tutorial on earth because I'm not actually making a tutorial right now. But this is how I do it. You want to hold your pages together, or actually you probably want to do this separately per thing, but I'm not going to do that because I don't need to. Try to show you guys what I'm doing, but you probably won't see very well. You take one, you want to see the spine, and then you want to draw like where you want your holes to go. So I'm just going to wing it. Let's see. You don't have to do this many. I've done them like an inch apart, half an inch apart. I like a lot of them together just because I think that looks the nicest. But I have like, I don't know, 15, 20 on this. If you can see, I have some very faint markings. Can you see? Yeah, you can see better without like the light. I have some very faint markings. And so now I'm going to go and just stack the rest of my things together, and I'm going to go and mark them on the other ones. Straight line across. You honestly want to do this on like the inside because you're going to be stabbing these. But I'm just going to do it from the outside because like I've done this so many times. I feel like I got it, you know? Okay, so now they're all marked. There you go, you can totally see it now. They're all marked on the edges. I'm going to move these two because they will confuse me. Having too many things on my workspace will confuse me, which is ironic because I have so many items here. I have my needle. Just kidding, no I don't. I did have a needle on this thread and I guess I lost a needle. I just recently, as of like a semester ago, finally invested in a bookbinding needle, but you don't need this. You can literally just like take a needle and bend it. That's what I did before. I have like a needle somewhere that's bent like 45 degrees, which worked perfectly fine. But yeah, I'm going to go and open these up. Actually, I should probably use an awl for this. Mine is currently covered in like resin and stuff, so excuse me while I scrape it off with my X-Acto knife. LOL. So normally when you do kettle stitch binding, you have like sections of pages that are sandwiched in together, but because I always bind with vellum paper, because you guys know there's vellum paper in between these two sheets, I never really have to do that. This is how I do it. I put them on my knee, right? And I'm going to punch a hole right here, and I want to go through, not hit my knee. So make sure you angle it well, but just go through and punch holes in the center of the spine. Can you see right there, center of the spine going in? Just do that all the way down, and be gentle with your paper if you have really like thin paper. Mine is pretty thick, so I know it can hold this, but you don't want to do this with single sheets of like printer paper or something. That would be awful. You'd want to do like a couple, and definitely look up an actual tutorial of kettle stitch binding if you're interested. I like to go on the inside and just like punch the needle all the way through now. 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, ow, that hit my knee, 14, and 15. So now I have 15 holes, and I have 15 holes. And you just want to do this on all of them. They're all already marked. And this is like super easy. Honestly, a lot of the things I do, I feel like are super easy. They just take a lot of time, and a lot of people don't put the time that I do into these things. Which is what the success of my art is sometimes. It's just like how much time I invest into it and how much time people are not willing to spend on these simple things. There we go. They're all punched. So now if you stack them up, you should be able to line up all the holes. You can see them much better now. As you can see, they should all be lining up. I don't know how to measure the thread. I always guess and just measure like a ton of it and then hope that it'll work. So I have this DMC gold metallic thread. This is what I use to bind all of my books, kind of a signature of me. I don't think anyone really cares though, but I like to use this gold thread because I think it's beautiful. I'm just going to take like a bunch of it, lol. I'm pretty good at not getting thread tangled because I've sewn a lot. But if you have a tendency to get thread tangled, definitely don't worry about it because you can re-thread your needle like halfway through if you run out of thread. But I don't like the way it looks because you can like see the knots, which won't happen if you put on a cover after, but I like a naked binding and seeing the binding, especially since I'm binding by hand. But you know, you thread your needle like normal and then you tie it off at the end. You put the two like threads together and you tie it. I like to do a double knot or a triple knot. I think I'll do a triple today because I don't want this falling apart. And then I'm going to pull on it like this. I'm gonna leave the threads for now in case something happens, but you definitely want to get rid of that. Now we can start. See, it's not like it's not that long when you stretch it out. So I'm going to start with the first page. You pretty much just want to go like out one in the other, out in until you reach the end, and then you do it all the way back again, and then you start the actual binding process. So this part's like really simple. Wow, I really am giving a tutorial, lol. Definitely look up a real tutorial if you're gonna do this. Don't just like take my word because I just make up my own rules. I really like bookbinding because it's so satisfying. I like putting things together, in case you haven't noticed, because I just like assembling things. I like having things with a lot of pieces and then assembling them and making sure every single piece is something that I can like customize. Sometimes the string likes to get caught on the edges of the paper, so just like help them through, you know? There's a lot of different threads you can use. You can use like actual bookbinding thread. This thread I'm using is kind of plasticky, so it doesn't fray. It has no like, I don't think it has a lot of cotton in it, but I don't know. Maybe it's like completely cotton. I don't know much about cotton. So I've made my first pass through the entire thing. There's like dashes. You're gonna go and you're going to want to feed it back out, and you just do the same thing all the way back. Just loop it back. Take your first page right and then stack your second page under. You put the needle under the adjacent hole on the second sheet, like the new sheets, and then you loop it through the front. Like now you're on the inside, you're gonna go back outside. You're gonna go into the stitch on top, like those two rows that you made. You're gonna go in one of them, bring it back down into the inside, go into the next hole, and then you're going to go into the next hole, do the same thing. Love how this not tutorial turned into a tutorial. You have your page set. These are the first pages we did with the back and forth. So you're going through the second page, this first page, and those are the rows. You see the thread is out the hole of the second one. Then you loop this up into these stitches that you made before. Make sure you get both of them. Okay, so now that you're through that first loop, you're gonna bring it back down to the second loop. Put it through. And then you put it back in the same hole into the inside of that sheet. Pull it all the way through. Make sure it's like pretty taut, because this is what's gonna cause your pages to slide like that if you don't pull all your threads tight enough. Make sure they're all tight. Next one, put it through into the outside. Going to go up that first loop and then down the second loop. That, and then you move on to the next one, and then you pretty much just do this like all the way until the end. So it's really like easy, it's just extremely repetitive, but like the payoff is so good because it's so nice looking. The curved needle just makes it easier to reach like in between these threads, but it's not necessary. 2 years without a curved needle and it went perfectly fine, so I have full confidence that you guys can do it as well. And I used to poke holes with the needle as well instead of having like an awl, which is just like a fancy big needle. I like to take my time with bookbinding because it really is like the finishing touch of everything, so you don't want to like lose steam at the end of a project and just kind of half-ass it, because then it's like, why'd you spend all this time on the rest of it if you're just gonna make it look sloppy at the end, you know? But this assignment was like super fun. I'm so glad I got to do it, and my crit for it went really well. At one point my professor actually was like playing with this because we were having a lecture from like a guest and she low-key got a little bored or something. I don't know if mine was in the closest vicinity or if it was just like fun, but I thought it was super cute. I was like, OMG. And here's another tutorial I did of how to fix your little tapey dispenser thing when it like messes up, because mine always messes up and I used to throw them away, but I finally figured out how to fix it. So for you, bonus footage. I don't usually like do tutorials or anything like that on my channel just because it's not what I like to make, but I want to show you this random thing that I like figured out how to do. I'm sorry about my like dry ass hands. Do you see how like this happens all the time to me? Especially this is my favorite tape to use, and so I hate when this happens because I used to throw the whole thing out, but you can see there's like so much tape left. This is the like loose tape. So I figured out what to do. If you look down here, there's 2 gears that like hit each other, and so I like to see it from the top, but if you bend this back piece, you can separate them so that now like one is on top of the other, so it's like free floating. And then what I do is I spin this back one while making sure the front one doesn't move. You can wind up this piece. Don't get it tangled because that would be really bad. You can also like keep tightening it so this like hopefully won't happen again. But then once you do that, you just like pop it back on the thing. I never realized I could fix that problem. I used to literally throw them away, which was so wasteful, but now I don't have to do that anymore. And I'm just super happy about it and I can like keep using it. So yeah, fun tips. So this is like one of the final panels, right? And then we have this. First of all, this sizing is wrong because what happened is that like the new sheets I printed today are for some reason a different size than the sheets I printed yesterday, because this is how big they're supposed to be, right? This is the one I binded, and you can see if I line it up, it's like not the same size. And I don't know why that happened, but I think it's something with like the printing today. So I had the front and back cover already printed yesterday, so I didn't print them today, so they are different sizes now. They don't match. As you can see, I put like this border around it. I think it actually looks really nice, so like it's a really good coincidence. Only the front and back page were the 2 that I didn't print, so I have a different size front and back page, which is fine because if I put 2 borders on them, that'll match nicely. So we're gonna do the back one together because why not? I've been using these like leftover sheets. I have 2 different kinds. I have these that are like still stuck to the adhesive, and then I have these kinds that are like separate and I put them on. I need to use the long side and I don't have any of that kind, so I'm gonna use this one. All I'm gonna do is cut some thin strips. The biggest thing is just that they have to be thick enough to cover and they have to be straight. The most important part is just that they have to be straight. So I need 4 of these. 2. Hopefully that one's not too thin because that one came out a little thin. Also, if you do this, be really careful with like especially your thumb. I got cut. I cut it when I was a freshman on accident. There's still like a scar. So don't do that, LOL. I'm always like a little bit traumatized now. That's fine. Okay, so we have this back cover. Now we just have to put these on. So make sure the straight side is on the side. It's one of the good things about like doing art that's super repetitive is that you start finding different methods to do things most efficiently with like the least waste. So I already cut this one down to size. Like for these, I put the paper on and then I cut the edge, but for the glitter parts, I just do it this way because it's just like not that hard to line up. I'm going to take this like really gross one. This was like kind of messed up. I guess it came off in one piece, so it's fine. I hope this one's thick enough. It kind of looks like it might not be, but like that's okay. We'll just figure it out. And now the last 2 on the side. So I find one side with a 90-degree angle, and then I put that here in the seam. Whoa, 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 don't do that. They like to stick to each other better than they stick to the paper sometimes. Can do the corner and then stretch the rest of it to fit properly. There we go. There we go. For the overhang, I flip it to the other side. Take the X-Acto and swoop, swoop, and there it is. There's the border. Just make sure like everything's sticking. And now we just have to put on the back piece, which I have right here. Cut to size, make sure everything I need covered is covered, and it is. So now, let's use this pink guy. I like to make sure it's all the way up to the edge. In fact, I do a little overhang because I hate when things that are adhesed down start peeling. Since like I was in elementary school, oh my god, I just ran out. Okay, that's okay, I have another one. But especially like ever since high school and middle school and even elementary school, I hated when things that were stuck down would peel up. Oh my god, it's doing it again. So yeah, pull it out. Sometimes once it happens once with a certain one, it'll keep happening again and again. I also managed to have used like 4 of these for this assignment, so I need to get more of these now. But yeah, just make sure everything is stuck down. Center it. That looks pretty centered to me. And well, bam! Now we have the front and back covered. Yay! So like the border looks so nice. Here's one without the border, and I actually prefer it with now, just because I feel like it gives a little sneak peek of like what's on the inside. Like, I love, so cute. Boom, G. Okay, now I just have to make one more little one and then we'll be done. That's all the bonus footage I have, so thank you guys so much for watching. So I hope you guys liked this bonus footage, and I hope you guys had a good time watching it. Thank you guys so much for watching, for hanging out with me as always. If you haven't seen the video this is talking about, definitely go check it out. It's just the video that I uploaded before this. And that is pretty much it. So thank you guys so much for watching, for hanging out with me. I will see you guys in the next one. So stay hydrated, take a nap as always, and I will see you when I see you. Bye!